All right.
I would like to ask about incest and sex with children.
Yep.
And where does the law of attraction play a role here? Because with the other sexual practices that we're talking about, except sex with the dead and animals, where maybe there's no consent, we're talking about consent between adults mostly. But with children, I can't understand how does a child attract that?
A child attracts those kind of events through the unhealed emotions of its own parents. So it's its own parents in denial of unhealed emotions that attracts the events for the child. And this is the case for all things that children attract. So the reality is there is huge damage in paedophilia and incest. And the reason why there's huge damage in it is because not only does it not state the pure state, but also it actually is it is imposing an adult's will upon an undeveloped soul, a person who's yet to have the development of knowing what is, the right thing to do and what is the wrong thing to do, and it imposes upon them without their consent. And any time you impose something upon an adult without their consent, you are breaking laws of free will. But if you're imposing something upon a child, whether they give consent or not, you are actually breaking a lot of laws about whether the child's developed or not as well. So this is a very damaging action to do, certainly. The key what we want to do, though, is we need to look at not condemning the desire. See, what we've finished up doing is any person who has the desire for incest or desire for paedophilia, we eventually condemn them. Societally, what we do is we condemn them. We're very angry with them, and we do all sorts of things as a result to those particular people. What I'm suggesting is instead of doing that, we need to not condemn the desire, but rather the action is very, very damaging. We need to look at the desire. We need to examine why the desire is present, right? If we don't examine why the desire is present, the action will never change.
The desire will never change.
The desire will never change, and therefore they will want to act upon the desire. So what we want to do is look at the desire, acknowledge whenever it's present, look at the desire and start questioning why it exists.
The reason I wrote that on the board, actually, we were talking about taboo things sexually abhorrent to some people, is because I feel that because there is such shame and judgment of pedophilia, which I do feel is a horrible, abhorrent practice, but because there's so much judgment of people who practice pedophilia, they themselves are never encouraged to examine what the desire covers. And so the statistics for healing of people who practice pedophilia are pretty horrible because they don't really ever... There's very low statistics of people who ever stop having the desire to harm children in that way once they've started that.
This is why they do it over and over and over again until they die. And it's only usually in the spirit world that because of the openness of people assisting them, that they actually begin to address the emotional reason why they did so many terrible acts towards children. And the issue we need to face is not that we're not saying, myself and Mary are not saying that this isn't a major problem. It's a major problem on the earth. But what we're saying is every time we condemn in a person, even it's the reason for it occurring, the desire, we are actually stopping them. Societally, we are stopping them from ever healing their problem. We need to be able to discuss with them what the problem is all about emotionally and help them through the emotion that causes them to have a desire to have sex with children. That's what we need to do instead. And if that means isolating them from children until the desire is healed, then that's what we do. But we need to still go through the process of healing the desire. See, a lot of these different things are actually caused by unhealed desires, unhealed emotions. They're caused by emotions that are not even related to sex. And actually, some pedophilia-based emotions are not even related to sex. They're related to many other emotions. But we need to be open to seeing the desire and then addressing it and talking about it openly without condemnation and judgment. Because as soon as we judge the person, as soon as we condemn the person, from that moment on, they are unable to heal the emotion. From that moment on, they are going to hold on to the emotion, deny it. They'll even try to make out they don't have it when they still have it. And that's not going to get us anywhere when it comes to healing that sexually.
But in answer to your question, children don't have a law of attraction. It's based on their parents' law of attraction.